This is a keyboard. It's a really, really, really nice keyboard. And I'm going to show it to you. That's the way that this works, if you haven't noticed. Are you ready? You are? Okay, good. Let's do it then. Hi there, how you doing? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. So this right here is the Keychron K10. It's a wireless mechanical hot swap keyboard with RGB. You guys know how much I love RGB. Hermie knows, don't you, girl? Meow. Yeah, you do. Herbie loves RGB. So we're both really excited for this. I've had my eye on this keyboard for a while now. Quite a while, actually. And I've been reluctant to pull the trigger. I love keyboards. I've got quite a few of them, but in all honesty, none of them are what I'd call great keyboards. This here is my current favorite keyboard. It's super cheap. It's like 25 bucks. It's just a 60% mechanical keyboard with red linear switches. And I customized it with some retro aesthetic keycaps. But I love it. I have other more expensive keyboards, but this one is absolutely the best feeling keyboard of all my keyboards. And it's the one that I like typing on the best. I'll include links to this one in the description below, along with these little retro keycaps that I have on there, in case you want to pick this one up. Meow. Yeah, that's a good point, Herbie. It doesn't have RGB, but it does have orange lights. And as you know, orange is my favorite color, so it has that going for it. But my main gripe with it is that it's only a 60% keyboard, which is good for gaming and even good for typing. But as a main keyboard for everyday use and productivity type work, it's not great. Meow. Well, because it doesn't have F keys that I could use with one hand, dedicated arrow keys, and the numpad, which I find super useful in most of the programs that I use on a regular basis, and just for like typing numbers and stuff. So I've been on the hunt for a full-size mechanical keyboard, and this one keeps popping up whenever I search. Everyone seems to love this thing. Meow. No, I'm not just buying it to fit in. I want a good keyboard, and people say this is a good one, so that's why I got it. Meow. Yeah, I should probably just open up this thing and check it out, huh? Okay, let's do that. In the box, we're greeted by a manual, which shows the instructions and the functions of the keyboard and stuff. And a piece of paper that shows that you'll need to swap the keycaps if you're on a Mac or PC. And on the other side, we have a cheat sheet that'll show you how to do things like connect Bluetooth, switch to a cable connection, change the lights. You could use some software to remap the keys. That's cool. And under here, we have the keyboard itself. Before we get to that, it looks like we have some accessories. There's a keycap puller offer, a switch puller outer, and there's those replacement keys, and a USB-C cable for wired use and charging. Alrighty, on to the main event. Here's the keyboard. It comes all safely packaged with a little plastic cover. I should mention that while I do like the color of this as is, I do intend to swap out the keycaps with my own. Meow. Oh, the switches? Well, this is the version with Keychron G Pro brown tactile switches. I guess I should talk about that. The K10 comes in several different varieties. You can swap the keycaps on all of them, but if you want hot swappable switches, you'll need to make sure that you get the model that has that, because some of them don't have swappable switches. Also RGB, they don't all have RGB. And this version that I chose is the version with an aluminum frame, so it's got some serious heft to it. We also have 2 levels of feet on the bottom, so you can tilt it 6 degrees or 9 degrees. Let's do a quick peek under these keycaps here. We'll use the keycap puller offer to remove one of the keycaps. So the way this works is you just line it up very carefully and precisely, and then smash it down on the key and yank off the cap. And there's our switch. Meow. Oh, that's a good point. Let's try out that switch puller outer. I've never done this before. Bear with me. How does this work? I really hope I don't break this. There we go. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, these are standard Keychron G brown switches. Meow. Yeah, I'll get to the typing test in a minute. Just be patient. First, I want to go over the other functions. On the left side, we have two switches, one for switching between Bluetooth off and wired connection, and the other switch is to switch between PC and Mac inputs. So we have three different Bluetooth profiles. So you just hold the function button and the 1, 2, or 3 buttons to put it in pairing mode for that profile. Or you can connect the cable to charge it up and use the keyboard at the same time. Up here we have a light effect key, so you can change the RGB effect. And if you hold function and press left and right, it'll cycle through the effects. And you can press function and the RGB key to turn off the lights. One disappointing thing is that you're stuck with the default RGB modes that are on here. Keychron doesn't have dedicated software or anything to customize it. However, I personally have no intentions of even using the RGB on this thing. I don't think it's a design aesthetic that lends itself to RGB. However, since you can customize the keycaps, you could probably build this thing out in a sick looking RGB setup if you wanted to increase your FPS. I should mention that this keyboard does support both QMK and VIA customization protocols. So you can program the keyboard inputs to your heart's content if you're into that sort of thing. Meow. Okay, fine. We'll move on to the main event. How does it sound? Well, it sounds like this. What? Okay, fine. So this is my first time ever using Keychron G Pro Brown switches, and I freaking love them. I've always been a red switch guy because the few keyboards that I have that use brown switches aren't great switches, but these browns on the K10 feel completely different from the cheap ones that I have. These feel freaking amazing. The tactile bump is very subtle, it's barely there. And there's a nice springiness to them, so they don't have that slightly sticky feeling that some of the cheaper brown style switches have. Okay, I'm gonna play with this for a little bit, and I'll circle back after I've had a chance to really put it through its paces, and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, it's been about an hour now, and I'm ready to give you my final review. I swapped out the numpad with my new keycaps just to try it out, and I think I love it. These are my cheap AliExpress keycaps, which I'll use for now, but I think eventually I'm going to go for a nicer set of keycaps with this same aesthetic someday. And of course, because it's a full-size keyboard, we have a full numpad, a full-size D-pad, page up and page down buttons. I know lots of people these days prefer to have like a 10 keyless main board with a numpad on the side, but I think that's kind of dumb, to be honest. I'd rather have just a full-size keyboard with all the keys that I need in as compact a profile as possible. And this is really compact. It doesn't take up any extra space on the desk that you need. I also love the fact that it has multiple Bluetooth profiles and it's super quick and easy to switch between them. I can't speak to the battery life because I only tested it for like an hour, but they claim up to 240 hours with the backlight off. This thing has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on a keyboard, which is freaking crazy. And also, just generally, the build quality, it feels like a freaking tank. The aluminum frame just gives the whole thing a super solid feel. This is one of the most nice and high quality things that's on my desk right now. It feels wonderful. Meow. Hermione wants me to wrap this up because she's hungry. So here's my final thoughts. Typing on it is really great. I mean, it's a keyboard, and the Keychron G Pro Browns are just right for me. I really love them, but I mean, it's just a keyboard, really. I mean, it feels good. I wish I could compare this with the red switches side by side, like if I had both. But like in a vacuum, yeah, these are freaking perfect. I love typing on this thing. And I'm just glad to have a full-size keyboard again. A good one, finally. I've wanted a good full-size keyboard for a long time, and I hemmed and hawed over which one to get, but I'm super happy I chose this one. I bought this with my own money, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. I want to share the things that I buy that I like, and this is one of those things. I think it's a solid keyboard for the price. It's the nicest keyboard that I have, and because it's customizable, I'm hoping it'll last me a long time. If I ever get bored of the way it looks or feels, I could just change it up. So if you want to pick up this keyboard, I'll leave a link to the different versions of this thing on Amazon in the description below. Anyways, I hope you found this useful. Click the thumbs up button if you did, or the thumbs down button if you didn't. Meow. Okay, I'll feed you. Damn girl, this is why I don't let you in the videos often. You're such a cat all the time. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.